What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are looking at the Thursday Night Football showdown picks between the Tennessee Titans and the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau. It's supposed to be very, very cold in Lambeau, especially at this time of year. Temperature is well below freezing today, so that could definitely impact the game a little bit. Maybe the kicking game makes some long field goals attempts a little bit harder. But let's go ahead and get started. It's a pretty low total right now as well. As always, if you enjoy the videos, appreciate the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Starting off by just looking at some of the snap counts. Last week, receivers for the Packers, they were down. Dobbs is missing multiple weeks, and they were without Cobb last week still. So they were basically just ran mostly two wide receiver sets, did more of two running backs, and then maybe a little bit more two tight end sets for them. But Lazard played 98% of snaps, and then you saw Watson, who had 3 touchdowns out of nowhere. He played 84% of snaps, and they gave some to Sammy Watkins. There's a chance that Randall Cobb does come back today. He was activated, so we'll see if he is able to make his way onto the active roster today. So if that's the case, only $200 on DraftKings would be a great value. The tight end situation, Tunyon only had 1 catch last week, but typically he's just going to be the main guy that they have running routes. You have Mercedes Lewis in there for a little bit of blocking. He can maybe catch ball here and there, maybe get a target here and there. And then running backs, we saw Jones have a great week last week against the Cowboys, and it's he's going to be getting kind of most of the work. Dillard's kind of been phased out a little bit. Early in the season, we saw it be more of a split, but recently it's been a little bit more Jones, which is probably the right call. He gives you more upside in general. If you look at the Titans here, we don't have to look at the running back situation. It's mostly all Henry, and then you're going to get Hilliard on some passing downs or some 2-minute drills. Wide receivers for them, Robert Woods been really poor recently. Treylon Burks came back last week, and it's a matter of time before he kind of jumps in front of Woods, I'd say. And then Westbrook McKine had 2 touchdowns last week. He also just like Watson out of nowhere, he had that. Hooper's been getting more targets and catches over the last 2 weeks, so that's a good sign. He's still playing over 60% of snaps last week, and then you have Swain there for blocking. He's caught 7 balls on the year. And then Okongwu has played a little bit for them as well. He's had a couple of long grabs for them, but really he's not too much of a play. So looking at the lineups here, or the pricing, Derrick Henry gets a great matchup against the Packers run defense. It's going to be a cold weather game. Titans don't even like to run the ball much, or don't like to throw the ball much in general anyway, so expecting to pound the run with Henry, coming off of a kind of a down week against the Broncos where he only had 53 yards, under 3 yards per rush, and I think it's a week where they're going to pound the rock with Henry, so especially on a short week with it being very, very cold. So Henry's definitely a possible captain play. He's expensive, so maybe you throw him in the flex for right now until we decide what we want to do. Other picks would be like a Jones. Both running backs, I'd say, both of the best running backs will be heavily involved in this game. He's done really well in 3 out of his last 4 games. The matchup here isn't the easiest against the Titans, so for that reason you might have some hesitation. They're a good defense except against the pass, but I still like him a lot at home, given the fact that he can catch passes as well. Aaron Rodgers is 15-6 here. He's finally played well last game. Didn't have any bad turnovers like he did the previous game. He led them to a comeback win. He only threw 20 times and 14 completions, but he had some really, really long ones to Watson, which helped him. So he even lost a fumble and still give you over 20 fantasy points. Projected build, he could be one guy to look at in the captain spot. Out of the receivers here, still like Lazard a little bit more than Watson just because he's been more consistent. Although he is a little bit cheaper, like $1,200. So if you don't have the money to get up to Lazard, you can take a shot on Watson. He's probably going to be cemented as a number 2 receiver, just because they don't really like Watkins as much, and Cobb is just kind of a slot receiver, so he's going to get his routes run. He's going to have opportunities for touchdowns. One guy I don't really like is Woods or Dillon really much at all today. Woods been really poor recently. Rather go down to the cheap tight end, and Hooper, he's had some drops last week as well, or even go down to Treylon Burks instead. And then you have Tunyon is pretty expensive at 58. I would probably like Hooper cheaper. He's done a little bit better recently. He's still looking for his first touchdown, but at least he's running some routes. He's getting some good targets. Not a fan of Watkins. I think Burks is definitely a play for tournaments. He's been kind of quiet for the games that he has played, but beginning of the year for a rookie, getting his feet wet last week, just coming off of an injury, missing more than like 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks. So still trying to get his feet wet, but at this price tag, definitely a guy that you can look to, just with how not too many options the Titans have as their pass catchers. And then as we keep going down here, Bullock is out, so you'll probably see Josh Lambo. Brought him over to kick some field goals, extra points today. Neither of the kickers get me that excited today, just because could see a lower scoring game in general anyways. Okongwu, you could look to him. He's had a couple of just one catch in 3 straight games. 2 of them have gone for over 40 yards, so maybe he can get lucky with a touchdown. We know tight ends typically have kind of somehow found the way to get into the end zone on these short slates. And then at $200, Cobb, there's not really anybody below like $1,500 that looks any sort of appealing option besides like Cobb if he's able to be active today. He participated, or he's clear parts from practice. Don't know if he's just because he's missed some games, and just have to wait and see if he gets put onto the active roster by today at 4 o'clock. So if he does, then at $200, he's gonna let you pay out for the top studs that you really want to get to on this one. So, and he's gonna play at least a handful of snaps, if not a little bit more than that. Now, he doesn't really have to be eased in too much just because he's a veteran. He knows exactly, doesn't really need to practice with Rodgers. They've had a long history. Just maybe that ankle will be limiting him a little bit. And then we have, try to get to Jones possibly if we can here at 11-2. Tannehill's a good play as well, but it's just, you're not going to be able to fit in everybody. He's still looking for his first 20 fantasy point game of the year. So probably like Jones a little bit more anyways, just at home in Green Bay with the weather. And then we have about $5,700 left if you're looking to get to some guys on the Tennessee Titans. You could go with Westbrook-Ikine and then go with Treylon Burks and use up all your salary this way for a potential lineup build. Definitely can do some kind of flip-flopping here. Maybe put in Derrick Henry at captain just to see how it looks there. Still have Jones. Put in Aaron Rodgers, and then you're looking at trying to shed $600. So take out Westbrook-Ikine, 56. Put in like a Hooper. Now you have $1,000 left over, which is completely fine to leave it, or there's a very easy pivot to go up from Burks to Westbrook-Ikine, and now you have a kind of a 3-3 stack here with the Packers and the Titans. I think it's going to be a close game. I know the Packers are favored at home, but could see the Titans. I mean, they're a very, very good sound team. Fundamental team, run the ball. They don't really have too many turnover issues, and they have a good defense. So I'm not really looking to do like a 5-1 or a 4-2 stack too much, just because it should be a close game. But in terms of the core plays, it's got to be Henry. It's got to be Aaron Jones, I'd say. Cobb, if he's in. So those were the 3 that I really, really like. And then Rodgers, of course, if you're trying to get to one of the 2 quarterbacks, he's the one that I prefer. And then the receivers on the Titans, with some of the guys that are cheaper like Burks and Westbrook-Ikine, I like them better than Woods. And on the Packers side, Cobb would be a great value if he's in. And then the receivers are expensive, but both are reasonable given Tennessee's struggles against the pass. So that's what I got on DraftKings. Let's go ahead and look at FanDuel. So on FanDuel, it's a little bit more interesting because Henry is priced way up. He's up to $17,000, so you're going to really have to make a decision. That's the first decision you're going to make on FanDuel, is whether you're going to pay out for Henry or not. So you got $2,000 dip to Rodgers, and you get a bunch of other guys like Jones and Tannehill, $25,000 to $3,000 cheaper. Not too much a fan of Dillon at $12K. Only $500 separation between Watson and Lazard. So I prefer Lazard, and then Westbrook-Ikine is priced up at $10K. Rather get to like Burks at $8,000. Rather get to Hooper at $75,000. Tunyon is only $7K. Looks decent. And on FanDuel, Cobb is $75,000, so he's not much of a great value, just with all the other guys that are similarly priced. So we'll look at making one with Henry as a potential MVP. Rodgers, see if we can get to these top 3 that I really like. You have $6,750. You're going to be really looking for some value. At the bottom, you're probably going to have to go with like a $6,000 guy or a $6,500 guy, but Tunyon at $75,000 looks pretty good, or $7K. Now you have $65,000. You could maybe look to Okongwu, hope that he can, catch a long pass, maybe get into the end zone. So you it'd be tough to do it like this. Maybe you go with one of the Packers receivers instead of Jones, with like a Lazard at $11,000. Now you have $8,500, so a lot more flexibility to work with. Put in Burks for $8K, and at $9,000 you could take a shot on Woods if you wanted to. take a shot on Crosby, take a shot on Lambo, something like that. Definitely reasonable. Also could go down here for probably like a Hooper, probably a Tunyon if you needed to. Out of the $7,500 guys, I think Hooper looks pretty good. I mean, it's pretty close between him and Tunyon, I'd say. But I like Hooper more than Watkins if Cobb is back. You could see Watkins' snaps take a big dip. And now you have $1,500 left. You could see if $9,500 don't have really anybody besides the Titans defense to look at. And then 12.5, you just have A.J. Dillon to consider. You could go down from Rodgers to Jones here. And now you have 2K. So you could upgrade from Treylon Burks to Westbrook-Kine as a potential play. He definitely gives you touchdown upside, as we showed last week. FanDuel's a little bit trickier, but I would still try to get to Henry. I mean, he's could be the one guy that absolutely kills you if you fade him, on the Tennessee side at least. Henry, I'll still probably try to get to Rodgers over Jones if I just had to pick one of them. And then for value, I probably like $8,000 for Burks, considering the fact that he could see a few more snaps today. It's a short week for them, but I haven't heard anything about him being, like his injury still bothering him or anything like that. So maybe he's able to get 50% of snaps, if not a little bit more this week. And being similarly priced to Woods, you could pivot to Woods, but no, I think that Burks is still just better ceiling play. Woods has looked really poor recently. So that's what I got today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you have any questions, you can leave them there. Follow on Twitter for updates at the DFS process. And best of luck, and I'll catch you all next time.